Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. We back again. It's big ways. I love big ways. It gets everybody interactive. So, hey, we are back to come share with everybody some tips and tricks to help you level up your business, be disruptive in your business, and grow you something that can be legacy, leave a legacy for you and your family. So every Wednesday morning we're here, or if you're overseas or anything, or if you're watching the recording, hey, we're coming to share tips, things that we're trying out that can help you grow your business. I know Michelle just got done running, so I'm gonna let her catch her breath. So I will go first. So one of the first things I want to do at the end of the training, I'm going to leave you with a challenge and something you can come back with next week. And I want to hear some of those things that you come up with. But the first thing I wanted to remind you about is something even with the when we're leveling up our life, something that has really hit me was that you don't forget to utilize your calendar. Don't forget to put balance, because I don't want you to burn yourself out. That is something that I don't want nobody. I know, trust me. Yesterday, 2 days ago was the first day I've ever drank a lot of water, and I was not prepared. Like I didn't know what to expect. But when I started putting it on paper, the very next day became so much easier. Oh, you're gonna drink 1 cup here. You're gonna drink 1 cup here. And when I told myself what I was gonna do, it's the same way with your time, same way with your money. If you don't tell it where it's going, it's gonna tell you where it's going. So what I encourage you to do is find a calendar. Go on Google and print one out if you need to, or go to the store, grab yourself a physical calendar. I still love writing stuff down. Some people don't like that. Well, if you don't, use your phone. Every phone has a calendar built into it. But find something that you can tell your time where it needs to go. Hey, this is the time where I'm going to walk. This is the time where I'm going to drink my water. This is the time where I'm going to take 15 minutes and I'm just going to call a couple of people. Oh, I still got to have my family time. I still got to go to work here. So put everything on there. What I encourage you to do first is put everything on there that has to get done. So if you got to go to work from a certain time, or if you're in Michelle's standpoint, she's a photographer, well, she got an appointment, well, put that on there. Hey, this is going to take 2 hours. I can't do anything else in there. Oh, well, we have family dinner at this time. Well, I got to do that. And then, all those other things. And then look at your open times and say, you know what? I can work my business here. I could do my workout here. I could do this here. I could do this here, and so on and so forth. Just encouraging you to utilize a calendar. That is something that has really, really helped me out so very much. And then my next thing I wanted to talk about here. Let me look at my notes here, just double check, make sure I don't give y'all the homework assignment first. I'm gonna get that at the end because I want y'all to really think about this one over the next week. And yeah, so that was my first part. My next part is a homework assignment. So I'm gonna get that next, but I'm gonna pass it to Michelle. Hopefully she caught her breath. But before I do pass it to Michelle, did anybody have any questions or any did they want me to share a little bit more about the calendar or anything? Just feel free to unmute or ask the question. Anything we can help you out there. Hey, Miss Jane, I see Miss Jane made it too. Okay. Well, I'm gonna pass it to Michelle and let her share her nuggets, and then I'm gonna end off with a challenge whenever she finishes.
All right, thank you. I do think that I have caught my breath. If I'm slightly winded still, my apologies, but it kind of ties into what I wanted to talk about today. So, we're all getting started with this level up program. We're working at setting ourselves goals that we want to achieve. We're following the program that's been outlined, and it's awesome because it's one of those things that is very flexible and it's designed to meet people where they are. And so, what I wanted to say today is start where you are. It doesn't matter where that point is, whether it's your business, whether it's your fitness or your health goals, wherever you find yourself at today, start there and don't compare yourself to somebody else. So, when we started the 60-day challenge back in January, I was all gung ho about it. I wanted to, jump in and get really super fit. And so I started the fitness part of it too hard. I went too hard, too fast, my body wasn't ready for it. And I ended up hurting myself, not like an injury hurt myself, but hurt myself to the point that then I didn't want to keep going. And it took me a long time, actually, until we started this level up program for me to re-engage with the physical activity. And it wasn't because I wasn't thinking about it. I wanted to, but I was a little afraid that I was going to overdo it and hurt myself again. And so rather than, take that chance, I just didn't do anything. Well, that didn't move me any closer to my goals. I wasn't making any progress whatsoever at that point. And so as we've been gearing up for this new program that we've rolled out, I started thinking about that, and I'm like, what can I learn from this? Because I think every time you encounter a challenge or an obstacle, you can learn something from it. And so I looked at that and I went, what can I learn? And what I realized was that it's really, really important to be self aware in this business, in your fitness, as you're pursuing better health and your goals. It's so, so key to be able to check in with yourself and find out, where am I at today? What does my body need? And listen to that. So I'm out on my run today. When I started, it was 8:37 and we have training at 9 o'clock. And I know that my loop is a mile and a half. And it typically takes me 20 minutes or so to run. And I'm going, oh no, do I have time? And so, sometimes we can set, like there's goals that we can set, or boundaries that we bump up against that are self-imposed. Like we say, I need to achieve this by this point. And other times there's boundaries that you bump up against that you don't really have a lot of control over. And so today it was one of those that I didn't have a lot of control over. 9 o'clock's coming, whether I'm ready for it or not. And so I started my run and I'm like, I'm going to push myself a little bit harder today so that I can get finished in time for the call. Well, as I started, I'm realizing that because we're doing the detox, because I haven't eaten yet today, I'm dragging a little bit. And so rather than push myself to a point where I injure myself again, I stopped and I listened to my body. And so I just I chunked it a little bit. I would run as fast as I could for a little ways. And then I'd recognize my heart rate's too high. I need to back it down just a little bit. I didn't stop. I didn't give up on my run because I wasn't feeling it like I was the last couple times, with the energy and the feeling strong. I kept going. But the important thing is to listen to your body, to listen to your mind, to check in and say, where am I at today? Because when you start your goals, your program, whatever it is that you're working towards, if it's your business or your health, you're going to have days where you feel awesome, where you feel like you got the world by the horns and you are ready to tackle anything that comes your way. And then tomorrow, your goal's still the same, maybe, but you're not feeling it tomorrow. And so check in with yourself. What is it that's going on? Do I need to eat? Am I lacking some protein? Did something happen in my life that I'm feeling a little bit stressed or overwhelmed? Did I have an interaction with someone, maybe a spouse or a kid, that just left you feeling yucky and it threw your energy off? It's so, so key to check in with yourself and find out where you're at so that you can then move forward from that place. And it might be that today you're on top of the world and you make 5 steps forward, and tomorrow you're feeling a little down. And so it's 1 step forward tomorrow. But you know what? If you're checking in with yourself, you're finding out where you're at. What do you need today to keep moving forward? And you make that forward progress. Even if it's 1 step, you're still making forward progress. And if you have to slow down, that's okay, because this is your journey. It's your opportunity. It's your race. You're not competing against anybody but yourself, unless you impose that on yourself to compete with others. And so I would just encourage you, if you find yourself in a place where you're feeling overwhelmed, where you're feeling like, man, I just don't got it today. I'm not feeling motivated. Like, you're not always going to be motivated. So we must learn to be disciplined. And I'm learning that for myself as well. To create good habits helps you when the motivation is evading you. If you do like Aunt says and make that calendar and you prioritize your time and your day and the things that are important to you to achieve and accomplish, when you have that structure in place and you say, this is what I'm doing, then you can set out that day to achieve those goals and to take those steps. And if you find yourself dragging a little bit, well, keep moving forward and check in with yourself and figure out, do I need to call and talk to a friend? Do I need to go for a run? Like, I actually feel better now that I ran than I did before, even though I'm tired and I'm winded and I'm hot. But if we're checking in with ourselves, being self-aware, because sometimes it's easier, to be perfectly honest with you, it can sometimes be a lot easier to ignore it, to shove it to the back burner, to say, I'm just not doing this today, not dealing with it, I'm not feeling it, so I'll just get back with it tomorrow. That can be easier because it can be so hard to look internally, to look at yourself and check in and be like, what's going on? Is it me? Is it external? And to be able and willing to identify it, because sometimes we find stuff in ourselves that we don't like, and that can be real hard to deal with. But when you're able and willing, I think willing is the big key to do that, to self-assess every day. And sometimes it's a minute by minute thing. If you're not feeling it, try something that is going to be helpful. Take your supplements, take an extra shot of limu or a moa, see if that helps, if that's a little pick me up that you needed. And we know the right things, the things that we should be doing, that we can do for ourselves. And sometimes it's easy when we get distracted, when life is happening, to either forget about those things or to push them aside. And so to keep yourself moving forward, maybe make a list of some things that help you when you're not feeling motivated or you're not feeling the greatest physically. Sort of make a little memory jogger sheet of things that have helped you in the past, or that if you're physically feeling a little blah, what's something that will help you to get a little pick me up. And then when you have that list there, maybe you can even do it on a card or a piece of cardstock, or laminate it or something and hang it or place it somewhere where it's visible. Because when you're in that rut, when it's hard, it becomes harder to identify the things that are going to help. But if you have taken and written those out, made them available to yourself, so that when you're in that moment of, I don't feel like it today, you can go and you can look at that and go, I know that these things help me and these I can do. And so when you have those tools and those resources and you've created good habits, it's easier, maybe not easier, but it's, you have the tools available. And so there's structure in place for you to be able to move past it. And so wherever you are today, I encourage you to start there and recognize that you're not in the place you want to be today. I think all of us would probably agree to that. It doesn't matter what area it is that you're starting to improve. Today, you're not where you want to be. And tomorrow, probably, you're not going to be where you want to be. But it's a journey, and it's about the progress, and it's about taking those steps forward. And it's not always linear. There's going to be some days where we're like, and then all of a sudden you'll spike and you'll move forward like really far, really fast. And then it plateaus again. And then you go up and up and up, and it's like little bits here and there. So it's not always going to be, this steep upward curve where you're always moving forward at the same pace. And that's okay. That's part of the journey. And, I have this section on my run where the hill gets really steep. It's not a very long section of this hill, but it kicks my butt every single time. And so I know that part's coming. And so when you can anticipate that there is something harder coming, you can pace yourself. Or you can look at it and go, okay, I'm either going to push through as hard and as fast as I can through the part that's easier so that I can slow down and take my time on the harder part, or you might rest a little bit coming up to that And then you can look at that and go, okay, it's short, but it's intense. And this is how I'm going to power through it. And so, knowing yourself and knowing where your strengths are, where your challenges come in, you're better able to prepare yourself to move through those hard points. And even if you have to walk or crawl through that hill to get to where you want to be, just keep moving. Start where you are today. Identify tools to help you have good habits and to get past your ruts, and just keep moving. That's what I got for you today.
Wow. That's it, you guys. It's just like the saying, hey, you don't have to get 110% better tomorrow. You don't even have to get 50% better today. All you have to do is every single day, if you got 1% better, you're going to be a way better person. You'll be a better person in 7 days just getting 1% better each day. And then imagine what it's going to be like when you get 120 days into it, or go a whole year getting 1% better each day. And so that is powerful. And like I said, I did have a challenge to finish it off. I want to see everybody level up their life, whatever aspect they are really pushing to level up their life in, whether it's physical, financial, time, with family, but you know one thing, to some do exactly what Michelle said, but you know where it'll also be a lot easier for you to put in different places is I want you to think of over the next 7 days, I want you to take some time and allow God to put it into your heart. But I want you to think of one word, just one word that you can finish off the next like 5 months of the year with. Just one word. Ask God for the word. Don't ask your friend. Don't ask your spouse. You don't even come up with the word. Sit down, talk to God, take some time and ask God, what is one word that I need so I can finish off the year? Because once you figure out that word, all you're going to do is put it in places, because that one word will remind you of what you're pushing for. And it may be words like discipline, it may be consistency. You don't know what God's gonna put in your heart, but over the next 7 days, trust me, He will put it into your life some way or some form or fashion. I want you to write it down, and when you write it down, next week, I want you to just come back and share it with us. We'll all share it. And then we're going to start putting that places on the mirror, on the refrigerator, wherever you're going, so it can remind you when, like Michelle said, when you're just not feeling it, when the days, but that one word will remind you of what you're trying to push for to finish off the year so you can achieve your level up goals that you have for your life. Well, that's all we got, you guys. It was short, sweet, and to the point, like always. But encourage you, hey, get your calendar together. Also, encourage you to remember what, like Michelle said, run your own race. And that always sticks in my mind. Like my coach used to tell me, run your own race. Everybody wasn't built the same. I wasn't always the tallest. And so when I think of that, I think about when I was in track. I couldn't outrun the taller guys up front because they took steps faster. I had to run my own race and pace myself. And if I didn't, I would burn myself out every single time in the 400 meters. And I promise you, you will too. So you have to figure out what your race is, what you're pushing for, and get better every single day. So, hey, that's all. I hope y'all have a great and blessed Wednesday. And I'll have the recording up as soon as I get done with all of this and I get back home. And y'all have a great one.
Thanks, Ant. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate